In the outskirts of a small Texas town, there was a farmhouse that stood alone in the vast expanse of fields and rolling hills. The locals whispered about the place, but few dared to venture near. It was said to be cursed, and stories of strange occurrences and ghostly apparitions kept people away. One late autumn evening, a young couple, Emily and Mark, decided to spend the weekend at the farmhouse. They had inherited it from Emily's great uncle, a man she barely knew, and they thought it would be a perfect escape from their busy city lives. Emily had a fond memory of visiting the farm as a child, though she hadn't been there in years. As they drove up the long, winding dirt road, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an eerie glow over the landscape. The farmhouse appeared in the distance, its silhouette stark against the darkening sky. "We're here," Mark said, trying to sound cheerful. Emily nodded, staring at the house with a mix of nostalgia and unease. They parked the car and stepped out, the air thick with the scent of dry hay and the distant sound of crickets. The farmhouse was old, its wooden boards weathered, paint peeling. A single light flickered in the window. Mark grabbed their bags and they walked up to the creaky front porch. Emily fumbled with the keys, the old lock protesting before finally giving way. They stepped inside, and a musty smell greeted them. The interior was just as Emily remembered. Old wooden furniture, faded floral wallpaper, and a sense of stillness that was almost palpable. They set their bags down in the living room and began to explore. The house was eerily quiet, the only sound their footsteps echoing through the halls. Emily found herself drawn to a small room at the back of the house, a room she remembered from her childhood. It was her great-uncle's study, filled with old books and papers. As she stood in the doorway, a chill ran down her spine. She couldn't shake the feeling that they were not alone. Shaking off the unease, she rejoined Mark in the kitchen, where he was unpacking their provisions. Night fell quickly, and they decided to light a fire in the fireplace. The flickering flames cast dancing shadows on the walls, adding to the eerie atmosphere. They sat down on the worn-out couch, trying to relax. "Do you remember any of the stories about this place?" Mark asked, breaking the silence. Emily nodded. "My great-uncle used to tell me about strange things happening here. He said the house was built on a land that was cursed. There were stories of people hearing whispers in the fields, seeing shadows moving at night." Mark laughed nervously. "Well, let's hope we don't see any ghosts tonight." Hours passed, and they decided to turn in for the night. They climbed the creaky stairs to the second floor, where the bedrooms were. Emily chose the room she used to stay in as a child, while Mark took the adjacent room. As she lay in bed, Emily found it hard to sleep. The house seemed to creak and groan around her, and every gust of wind outside sounded like a whisper. She closed her eyes, willing herself to sleep, when she heard it, a faint, indistinct murmur, as if someone were whispering just outside her door. She sat up, straining to hear. The whispering grew louder, more insistent. Heart pounding, she got out of bed and opened the door. The hallway was empty, but the whispers continued, now coming from downstairs. Emily crept down the stairs, each step creaking ominously. The whispers led her to the study, where the door stood ajar. She pushed it open and froze, In the center of the room stood a figure, shrouded in darkness, its back to her. "Who are you?" Emily demanded, her voice trembling. The figure turned slowly, revealing hollow eyes and a gaunt face. It was her great uncle. "Emily," he whispered, his voice barely audible. "You must leave this place." Emily's blood ran cold. "Why? What happened here?" "There's something in the fields," he said. "Something ancient and evil. It whispers to those who come near, driving them mad. It has claimed many lives." Just then, Mark appeared in the doorway, looking concerned. "Emily, who are you talking to?" She turned to him, but when she looked back, her great uncle was gone. The room was empty. "Did you see him?" she asked, her voice shaking. "See who?" Mark looked puzzled. "Emily, there's no one here." Emily's mind raced. Had she imagined it? She felt a cold breeze and turned to see the window open, curtains fluttering. She closed it and turned back to Mark. "We need to leave now." Mark saw the fear in her eyes and nodded. They hurriedly packed their bags and left the farmhouse, the whispers growing louder as they ran to the car. They sped down the dirt road, not daring to look back. As they reached the main road, the whispers faded into the distance. Emily took a deep breath, trying to calm her racing heart. "Do you think it was real?" Mark asked quietly. Emily stared straight ahead. "I don't know, but I'm not going back to find out." As they drove away, the farmhouse stood silent, still, and dark. The whispers of the fields faded into the night.